following the killing of a 14-year-old boy, Kehinde Alade, by a stray bullet fired by policemen on hot pursuit of the vehicle conveying the deceased. The Oyo State Command of the Nigeria Police Force has made some clarification in line with video evidence that one of its men attached to Oyo State Traffic Management Authority, OYTMA, on Tuesday targeted and fired bullet to deflate one of the tires of the vehicle because the driver, who later was found out to be the father of the deceased, Odunayo Alade, drove the vehicle in a life-endangering manner, giving the police the room to suspect the dangerous driving to be an apparent act of kidnapping. Hence, the police team gave the vehicle a hot chase and opened fire towards the tires of the vehicle, but the bullet missed and penetrated through the car booth and hit the student who was on his way to take the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) exam, with the deceased student's father, who introduced himself as a single father taking care of the kids since his wife allegedly abandoned and left them 7 years ago, confirming he actually refused to stop after driving against traffic. An eyewitness who was one of the occupants in the vehicle said they continued the driving for some moments even when the little boy screamed and shouted he has been shot, initially believing the boy and other kids at the back seat, who were also screaming, to have raised the alarm out of fear of the police until they saw the boy gasping. The incident occurred around 7 a.m. along the Ibadan Airport roundabout, Alakia Adalubi Airport Road in Oyo State, with the state governor confirming the suspected killer police officer has been taken into custody. The deceased student's father and the driver of the vehicle, Odunayo Alade, who spoke with TVC News crew shortly after the incident, said he was asked by a roadside tire mechanic or vulcanizer to drive the vehicle towards the other side of the traffic so that the vulcanizer air compressor hose pipe can reach the car. In a press release on Tuesday, the Oyo State Police Command spokesperson, CSP Osifeso Adewale, said, at approximately 7:45 a.m. along the airport roundabout, Alakia Adalubi Airport Road, an enforcement team comprising OYTMA officers and personnel of the Oyo State Police Command attempted to stop a black Honda Accord, Lagos registration number FST 639JJ, driven by one Odunayo Alade, male, father of the deceased young male, who was found to be driving against traffic, one way. Rather than complying with lawful directives, the driver allegedly accelerated towards the enforcement team in an attempt to evade arrest, ramming into two OYTMA vehicles and a police Buffalo patrol truck. In an effort to prevent further damage and harm to officers and other road users, barricades were set up to demobilize the fleeing vehicle. However, the driver reportedly broke through these barricades, continuing to drive recklessly and endangering lives. Given the nature of the driver's conduct, officers suspected possible criminal activity or a case of abduction. A police chase ensued. In an attempt to immobilize the vehicle, a police corporal discharged a firearm aimed at the tires. Tragically, the bullet missed and struck Kehinde Alade, male, who was seated in the rear seat behind the driver. Oyefeso stated that the victim was immediately rushed to the University College Hospital, UCH, where he was confirmed dead on arrival. He said the body of the deceased has been deposited at the Oyo State Hospital mortuary for autopsy and preservation. The officer responsible for the discharge of the firearm has been taken into custody and, along with other members of the team. Meanwhile, the Oyo State government has confirmed that the police officer who fired the bullet leading to the death of the secondary school student during a traffic stop in Ibadan is now in custody and under investigation. A statement signed by Solomon Olanrewaju, spokesperson to Governor Seyi Makinde, said the incident was sad, shocking, and totally avoidable. The government extended condolences to the victim's family and assured the public of a full investigation in collaboration with the Oyo State Police Command.
He hit my car. Then I put the car on the vice just to bypass him. I didn't know there are up to 4 vehicles. Then the other one, the twin vehicle, hit my car again. Then I just tried to, so as I managed to escape them, the next thing I had the gunshot.
We heard the gunshot. We're thinking maybe they released the bullet to scare people away. So when we moved for some maybe 5 seconds, so the guy, the boy, the deceased was shouting, "They've shot me! They shot me!" So I look at the back. The back screen was not broken. So we were even thinking that he was scared because all the children they were making noise. So we were trying to calm them down. Then I look back, I saw him gasping.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has alerted the public that it prevented the act of mass stealing of depositors' funds at Premium Trust Bank, PT Bank, after some of the bank staff conspired together with alleged intention to steal after allegedly agreeing with 3 other persons to manipulate the bank server and domain credentials to gain access to the bank customers' savings database. This, EFCC made known on Tuesday when the Commission arraigned the suspects before a federal high court sitting in Lagos State for cybercrime and conspiracy to steal. Details of the report and the handing over of 753 units of houses recovered by the Commission at Plot 109 Cadastral Zone CO9, Lokogoma District, Abuja, suspected to be assets belonging to the embattled former Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor, Godwin Mfield, to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development as presented by the Public Relations Department of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC reads below. EFCC arraigns bankers, 3 others for alleged cybercrime in Lagos. The Lagos Zonal Directorate 1 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Awolowo, on Tuesday, May 20, 2025, arraigned the duo of Kehinde Alade and Matthew Adeniyi Damilola, who are both employees of Premium Trust Bank, before Justice Alexander Owoyi of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos. They were arraigned alongside Samson Lachandakap, Balaji Omatosho Yinka and Sunday Badaniyi Okanola on a 7-count charge bordering on conspiracy to steal. The defendants allegedly conspired to manipulate the server and domain credentials of the bank in a bid to gain unauthorized access to its database and steal depositors' funds. The planned fraudulent activity was, however, averted by the Commission. One of the counts reads, that you, Kehinde Alade, Samson Lachandakap, Balaji Omatosho Yinka, Sunday Badaniyi Okanola, and Matthew Adeniyi Damilola, along with individuals identified as Humble, at large, Waziu, at large, Isa Ismaila, at large, and another referred to as Victor Joshua Almona aka Oracle, at large, conspired unlawfully between April and May 2025 in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, to manipulate the access code. This included the bank's server IP and domain credentials of Premium Trust Bank Limited in a bid to gain unauthorized access to the entire database of Premium Trust Bank Limited for the purpose of committing an offense, to wit, stealing from the bank's funds, and you thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 27 and 28, 1b, of the Cybercrimes, Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act 2015, as amended, 2024, which is punishable under Section 28(2) of the same Act. They pleaded not guilty to the charges when they were read to them. In view of their pleas, Prosecution Counsel, Zinat B. Atiku, prayed for a trial date and the defendant's remand in a correctional center. Counsel to the first defendant, Adeleke Adepoju, urged the court to admit his client to bail in the most liberal terms. He stated that he didn't have enough time to make a formal application. Other counsel also sought to make oral applications for their clients. Justice Owoyi, however, refused the applications and ordered the counsel to make formal bail applications before the court. The judge ordered the first defendant to be remanded at the Kirikiri Correctional Center. The second, third, fourth and fifth defendants were ordered remanded at the Ikoyi Correctional Center. The matter was adjourned till June 30, 2025 for commencement of trial. EFCC hands over 753 recovered housing units to Ministry of Housing. The Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, on Tuesday, May 20, 2025 handed over 753 units of houses recovered by the Commission at Plot 109 Cadastral Zone CO9, Lokogoma District, Abuja to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. The property, measuring 150,500 square meters and containing 753 units of duplexes and other apartments, was recovered based on a final forfeiture order granted by Justice Jude Onwuegbuzi of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, High Court, Abuja on Monday, December 2, 2024. While handing over the property, Olukoyede reiterated the commitment of the EFCC to accountable asset recovery and disposal modalities, pointing out that such gestures are meant to demonstrate to Nigerians that whatever proceeds of crime that we have recovered in the course of our work, the application of that will be made transparent to Nigerians so that we will not allow looted assets to be looted again. He also pointed out that it is important for us to emphasize to Nigerians that the fight against corruption can work and we can really make it work, and one of the key factors that actually propels the impact of the fight is the need for us to ensure that those who have stolen our commonwealth are not allowed to enjoy the proceeds of crime. So one of the critical factors of our works is that we deprive them of the proceeds of crimes. He applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's stance on the fight against corruption, affirming that the handover of the property signaled the government's seriousness to the fight against economic and financial crimes and other acts of corruption. The handover took place in a brief ceremony at the ministry's headquarters in Mabushi, Abuja. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, praised the EFCC for its sustained commitment to asset recovery and anti-corruption. He further stated that the handover was a significant milestone in our collective efforts and determination to ensure that recovered assets are put to productive use in ways that directly benefits the Nigerian people. Dangiwa assured that the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development will conduct a joint familiarization tour of the estate, alongside the EFCC, to properly access the structural state of the estate. Former United States of America President, USA, Joe Biden on Monday issued a statement thanking everyone for the love and care messages he received since, on Sunday, the personal office of the ex-president announced that the former North America country president has been diagnosed of aggressive cancer that has spread to the bones, with Joe Biden saying in the Monday message that cancer touches us all but him and his wife, Jill, are strongest in the broken places. The news of the former president's cancer diagnosis has become a major issue in the United States, especially in the media, with a video of the ex-president comforting the daughter of John McCain over McCain's cancer diagnosis during a televised TV show years back, and President Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., resharing a 2022 video of Joe Biden personally announcing that he has cancer, now trending on the US media space. Although some observers expressed displeasure over Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet accusing former President Joe Biden of staging a cover-up, after sharing a 2022 video in which the then president acknowledged having cancer, but his father, President Donald Trump, prayed for the successful recovery of the immediate president. President Donald Trump said, "Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery." While the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., had said, "Joe says he had cancer 2 years ago and everyone said it's a gaffe. When he clearly had dementia, everyone said he's lucid. Now that he's no longer useful, they're all shocked that they missed it. Everyone was in on the cover-up. Who was running the country? We need accountability." That aside, former President Joe Biden expressed his gratitude on Monday for the love and support he and his family have received upon the news of his cancer diagnosis. In quotes, Joe Biden said, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." Dobrovsky, founder of the Gen Z Perspective, in a tweet said, "Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer." Meanwhile, CNN's Jake Tapper and Axios' Alex Thompson are attacking Biden for struggling to answer questions about his late son Beau in a year-old interview. "The mainstream media has no bottom. Morally reprehensible vultures," added. Former U.S. President, Barack Obama said, "Michelle and I are thinking of the entire Biden family. Nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe, and I am certain he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. We pray for a fast and full recovery." Immediate past U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris said, "Doug and I are saddened to learn of President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis. We are keeping him, Drive, Biden, and their entire family in our hearts and prayers during this time. Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. We are hopeful for a full and speedy recovery." U.S. 52nd House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, "President Joe Biden is a great American patriot. Paul and I join the millions across the country and around the world praying for him to have strength and a swift recovery in the battle against cancer. Sending love to him and his family." Texas author Brittany Bell said, "Joe Biden is battling stage 4 cancer. It's serious, it's human, it's heartbreaking. He's served our country for 15 years and he's fighting for his life. If this were you or your family, you'd want compassion. Mocking, this isn't edgy, it's inhumane. Show some respect and decency." It was gathered that Biden was seen last week by doctors after urinary symptoms and a prostate nodule was found. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday, with the cancer cells having spread to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management, his office said. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. Prostate cancers, according to medical experts, are given a score called a Gleason score that measures, on a scale of 1 to 10, how the cancerous cells look compared with normal cells. Biden's office said his score was 9, suggesting his cancer is among the most aggressive. When prostate cancer spreads to other parts of the body, it often spreads to the bones. Metastasized cancer is much harder to treat than localized cancer because it can be hard for drugs to reach all the tumors and completely root out the disease. However, when prostate cancers need hormones to grow, as in Biden's case, they can be susceptible to treatment that deprives the tumors of hormones. It would be recalled that the health of Biden, 82, was a dominant concern among voters during his time as president. Associated Press reported that, after a calamitous debate performance in June while seeking re-election, Biden abandoned his bid for a second term. Then Vice President Kamala Harris became the nominee and lost to Republican Donald Trump, who returned to the White House after a 4-year hiatus. But in recent days, Biden rejected concerns about his age despite reporting in the new book, Original Sin, by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson that AIDS had shielded the public from the extent of his decline while serving as president. In February 2023, Biden had a skin lesion removed from his chest that was a basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer. And in November 2021, he had a polyp removed from his colon that was a benign, but potentially pre-cancerous lesion. In 2022, Biden made a cancer moonshot, one of his administration's priorities, with the goal of halving the cancer death rate over the next 25 years. The initiative was a continuation of his work as vice president to address a disease that had killed his older son, Bo, according to Associated Press.
Osazuwa Connected, bringing you the news in a more digital way.